What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Epic Gamer, and as if you've been following my other videos, this is a continuation of my 10-minute game reviews. And in today's episode is one of the most iconic and most memorable games in my entire existence of gaming. And that game is Halo Combat Evolved. So let's talk a little bit about the story of Halo Combat Evolved. The game takes place on a ship called the Pillar of Autumn. You, the player, play as Master Chief. Master Chief is basically the last standing Spartan, and you are tasked in the game of protecting an AI, the name of Cortana, from the Covenant forces. The Covenant are basically a group of aliens that come from all different species that have all joined forces by following the prophets on this great journey. Basically a radical holy cult that is basically feeding lies to the Covenant, but they don't know this at this point, and basically they are after any holy relics, and of course after these great rings, which is better known as Halo. So at the beginning of the game, your ship becomes under attack by the Covenant. They wake up Master Chief in cryosleep and basically task him of protecting the ship, of course, but also taking the AI Cortana and getting her off the ship at all costs. Because if Cortana falls in the hands of the Covenant will know the coordinates to Earth. So, of course, the ship is being attacked, and eventually it does get blown out of orbit and it plummets to the ring below. And of course, Master Chief and a few Marines jump on board of a dropship and they bail out trying to survive. Now, the story of Halo is absolutely amazing. If you've played Halo before, then you know that Halo has such amazing story and such great characters. Like, you have Master Chief, you have the AI Cortana, you have Captain Keyes, you have Sergeant Johnson, and the list goes on forever. And especially as the game series goes on to Halo 2, Halo 3, you get introduced to so many different other characters, including the Arbiter in Halo 2. But Halo Combat Evolved has one of the greatest stories I've ever played in a game. And I'm telling you, you'll have a blast with it. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay itself and what exactly will you be facing off against in Halo. So let's talk a little bit about the enemies that you will have to face off against in Halo. So let's start this list off by the first enemy that you will be introduced to is a grunt. Grunts are basically about 4 foot tall, and they have a respirator because they cannot breathe oxygen, they breathe methane. But grunts are relatively easy enemies to take out. But what grunts make them a threat is they can swarm you in numbers. And of course, grunts love to throw plasma grenades. But overall, grunts are not much of a threat, and they're honestly quite comical in Halo 1, and they're basically cannon fodder. Now, let's move on to the Jackal. The Jackal is basically a bird, I don't know, type alien, and they are definitely a much bigger threat. And especially if you've ever read the Halo books, you know that grunts and jackals are truly not pushovers like they are in the game. But that's a story for another time. But the jackals basically wield different weapons, plasma pistol, plasma rifle, and in the latest series they operate other weapons like Halo 2 beam rifle, which we all know that Jackal snipers are a living nightmare. But again, that's a story for another time. But Jackals also carry an energy shield that they can deflect your attacks. By you shooting it, it will reflect your bullets, so it's best that you try to aim below or to the side, but they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. Now, let's move on to, honestly, the biggest threat, and honestly, my favorite Covenant is most definitely the Elites. The Elites are truly the huge threat in Halo 1, 100%. Elites are basically a very tall, very combat-oriented alien race that will not give up in a fight, and they will fight you to the death no matter what. Now, depending on what color the armor on the elite is, depends on how much of a threat they are on the battlefield. For instance, a blue elite is relatively weak and is not that much of a threat. But if you move up to the red elite, he is a lot stronger, has a lot more shield, and is a much bigger threat, and they will push after you to attack. Now, as the story goes on further, you will run into gold elites. Gold elites have the strongest shield in the game, and they have a special weapon, and that is the energy sword. And that means one little swipe at you, and it results in you dying. And one particular level on this game, especially on legendary difficulty, you can be inside of a ship in very close quarters where you will have to deal with a lot of gold elites on top of grunts and jackals. But wait, there's more! So as the story goes on further, you will be introduced to other enemies, and one of them in particular is most definitely just epic. It's badass. And that is the Hunter. The Hunter is basically a walking tank, and let me tell you, a Hunter is extremely powerful. They are basically a very large alien with a giant shield and a giant plasma cannon on one arm, and they can destroy basically anything and everything. And on top of that, they always come in a pair of two. Now let's move on to the true nightmare fuel of Halo Combat Evolved. So as the story progresses on, you will go to a particular level where you are trying to find out where your captain is, which is Captain Keyes. He crash landed on an area that was really dark and very spooky. As you investigate this place, you find out that the Covenant went there before you, but unfortunately they let something out, and that is the Flood. The Flood is basically zombies in Halo, and they are absolutely terrifying but also so amazing. So I gotta finish this video up, but I will say that when you play through this game and you play some of these great levels like Two Betrayals and Truth and Reconciliation, and just being able to play co-op with your buddy, or and being able to have these giant battles to where you're fighting the Covenant on one side, you're fighting the Flood on the other. It's just mind-blowing how amazing and how just great these games truly are. I miss the day of Bungie when they made these games, because they did such an amazing and phenomenal job that even to this day I still sit back and play Halo with my kids, or just simply play it by myself for the nostalgia, but just to enjoy Halo. Halo is such an amazing game, and I have such love and compassion for Halo that it's honestly a little bit unbelievable. But it's a game I've been playing for years, and I highly recommend it. So if you have not played Halo, you need to immediately, because you don't just have Halo, you have Halo 1, 2, 3, you have Halo Reach, and the list goes on for quite some time. And don't sleep on it, but Halo 3 ODST is actually pretty phenomenal and is a lot of fun. Now, before I finish this video up, I want to tell you guys about another series that I'm going to start. I'm going to continue making my 10-minute game reviews, but I'm also going to make a series where I'm going to take you, the listener, put you into a video game world, and seeing how long you could truly survive. So for example, if I took you and slapped you into the world of Left 4 Dead, what is the likelihood that you would make it out alive? I don't know. But stay tuned for that, and I just want to say thank you for everyone that has subscribed, and if you haven't, please consider it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see all of you guys in the next one. I'm out.